Okay, and we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream. It is 7:35 p.m. Spain mainland time, 6:35 p.m. Canary Islands time, and also here in Portugal. And it is the 28th of July. And today we'll look at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press in Spain, or over the weekend at least, and also some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times. Second half of the video, I'll go into the live chat that I have here on the screen, and we'll check out what is happening there amongst the viewers this evening. Straight into the news, and Spain's number one fugitive, Mr. Carles Puigdemont, again making threats. He wants to come back to Spain, but of course, as we know, he can't, because as soon as he steps foot on Spanish soil, he will be arrested. So he wants to work out a deal with Pedro Sanchez so that the Spanish police forces don't arrest him should he step over the border. And as we can see here, Puigdemont reiterates that he will return to Catalonia for the investiture debate and urges Sanchez to avoid his illegal detention. The former president of the Generalitat and Junts MP, Carles Puigdemont, has reiterated that he will return to Catalonia for the investiture debate, even if it involves the PSC candidate Salvador Illa. He has urged the Prime Minister, Pedro Sanchez, to avoid his illegal detention. My obligation is to go to Parliament if there is an investiture debate. I will be there, and only a coup d'etat will prevent me from attending, he stated regarding his return at the event marking the 4th anniversary of his party's foundation held in the south of France. He emphasized that decisive and critical days are ahead, as there is a real threat of a government led by most of the Spanish nationalist version of the Partido Socialista Catalan. So there we go, Mr. Illa looking to be president of that Generalitat in coming weeks. Mr. Puigdemont wants to come back, but of course he still has the pesky little thing hanging over his head, which is an arrest warrant, I should say. Spanish forces out to get him, as are most of the judges in this country. So we'll see if he does indeed step over the border and how Mr. Sanchez reacts to this, because as we know, there has also been a falling out in recent times between Mr. Sanchez and Mr. Puigdemont, precisely because of the pact in Catalonia between the Socialist Party and the other left-wing party, the ERC, the Republican left of Catalonia. Next piece of news here, and 8 out of 10 Spaniards believe that taxes are not fairly distributed. 4 out of 10 Spaniards believe that too many taxes are paid in Spain, and 8 out of 10 think that they are not distributed fairly, according to the Public Opinion and Fiscal Policy Survey published this Friday by the Centre for Sociological Research, the CIS. Citizens have expressed their perception regarding fiscal obligations. The main issue for the majority is that there is considerable or significant tax fraud in Spain, pointing to low wages as the primary reason. For example, 1 in 4 respondents is convinced that few professionals correctly declare VAT, and 4% assert that none do. Given this situation, more than half believe that little effort is made to combat fraud, and a much larger number, 8 out of 10 Spaniards, think that the purpose of the taxes is not properly explained. So there we go, Spaniards believing, or at least the majority of Spaniards, 8 out of 10 according to this survey, that their taxes are not fairly distributed, and tax fraud rife amongst autónomos, or professionals in Spain, thinking that they don't declare VAT. So there we go. Let me know what you think on this matter. Taxes fairly distributed in Spain? Do people pay enough tax? Do people pay too much tax, like people think there? And is tax fraud rife in the country? Let me know what you think. We'll have a debate about it. Next and final piece of news here, and it is that the Interior Ministry is to spend €900,000 over the next 4 years on destroying macro marijuana plantations in Spain. It's neither easy nor cheap, the destruction of the increasingly numerous large marijuana plantation that the security forces managed to locate in their fight against drug trafficking has forced the Ministry of the Interior to increase the budget to €870,793, VAT included, over the next 4 years to hire gardening companies to destroy these crops on site. This is according to the tender dossier awarded last June, which El País has accessed. In this documentation, the Department of Fernando Grande Marlaska acknowledges that these plantations, many located in hard-to-reach areas to avoid detection, have become one of the main logistical problems currently faced by the police forces, especially since the number of plants seized has increased exponentially in recent years. So there we go, Spain's war on drugs hitting a hurdle there, an economic hurdle, €900,000 to hire gardening companies to destroy these crops on site, and obviously under police presence, because as we know, many people might want to put those plants in the back of their van and drive off and sell them, which is also going to be a risk. But the situation is increasing. The availability of marijuana seeds throughout Spain, legal to sell seeds, but illegal to germinate the seed and turn it into a plant. But people do it anyway, and these macro plantations popping up all over the country. All over the country. So the war on drugs in Spain going well and costing a lot of money to the average taxpayer, who already thinks that their taxes are not being well distributed. Now, first comment here from World Gone Mad. Mobility scooters. The last time I was in Mallorca, there were mobility scooters for hire everywhere with no disability ID required. This is the ongoing debate that we have been having about these mobility scooters. You don't see them in many cities in Spain, but in these coastal tourist resorts where foreign tourists are present, you see these scooters everywhere. And World Gone Mad pointing out that you don't need any disability ID to hire them in Mallorca, which seems to be strange, because they should only be used by people with disabilities, hence the name. But as we know, in places like Benidorm and probably Mallorca as well, young partygoers are using them to get to A to B, or get from A to B, and also to do their tourism on the island, no doubt. So there we go. Thanks for the comment. Another one here from Ariel Calgirl. Stu, the problem with the tortilla de patata in Barcelona was very likely the eggs. Oftentimes, they are infected with salmonella when they are purchased. The bar owner should change his provider. Salmonella is not a problem of storage unless the server has handled tainted raw chicken without washing their hands and then the tortilla. Thanks for that, Real Cow Gal. The issue of dodgy tortillas in Barcelona, I think it was, in the Raval neighborhood, in a place that specializes in tortillas, probably knocking out hundreds of tortillas every day. And of course, some 22 people that we know of, or at least we knew of the other day, coming down with salmonella poisoning, 4 people ending up in hospital. And when you get these salmonella infested eggs, you can have a problem on your hands. And I don't know how many eggs a place like this would go through, but I imagine if it is specializing in these tortillas, literally thousands and thousands of eggs, probably on a weekly basis, going into these tortillas. And you got to be careful. So thanks for that. And another comment here is also related. I'll just get to it now. This one here from Pitek, or Pete K. Which famous restaurant in Madrid had to close down because of salmonella poisoning? I hope it wasn't Casa Dani, as I'm planning to eat there during my trip in September. Well, but Pete K, it was Casa Dani. That is the restaurant in question that closed down for months because of salmonella poisoning. The same issue they had. Infected eggs were put into those tortillas, and of course the runny tortilla, which Casa Dani is famous for. When you eat the tortilla in that place, the eggs are not cooked properly, and of course leading to food poisoning. And I'm not sure how many people were affected in this case, but a lot more than 22, I believe. And as I said, that place closed down for months, waiting for the problem to go away. Then they reopened discreetly, of course. Still open today is Casa Dani, and still making those tortillas, but probably with a different egg supplier, I would say. But again, don't quote me on that. But Casa Dani was the restaurant in Madrid last year, 2023, affected by a salmonella outbreak. And probably more places have had these salmonella outbreaks, but they don't have the high profile of Casa Dani or that place in Barcelona. Another one here from K. Spain, specifically Barcelona, is the only place where I got food poisoning during my travels. Perhaps standards in food hygiene need to be improved. Yeah, don't know. I've been fairly lucky over the years. I've had some, dodgy food, no doubt about that. Had a dodgy stomach for maybe a day or so after eating out, but never had anything as serious as a salmonella poisoning or anything like that. So I think in general, food hygiene standards are quite high. Of course, they could be higher, but one thing that really does surprise me is that you can still have things like tortillas, as I mentioned the other day. These are Spanish omelets sitting on the top of counters in bars, and also other foods, especially on a Sunday. I've noticed in some of the bars in my local area, you'll go in there and of course it's a busy day. Lots of people want their tapa with their drink, and they have all of these things just sitting on the counter very close to where people are drinking and speaking. So not sure if that should be regulated a little bit more tightly. Not sure. But yeah, there could be some issues with that type of food. But as I said, in all of the years that I've been eating and drinking out in Spain, haven't really had an issue, except on a couple of occasions where perhaps you might have got a dodgy oyster or a dodgy mussel or something like that, or a dodgy prawn in your paella. That can also happen as well. But in general, I think fairly high. But you can always be in the wrong place at the wrong time as far as food is concerned. Anyway, another one here from Wickler. Isn't it mad that people write their bad experiences on Google rather than contacting the restaurant and the Food Safety Authority? Well, Wickler, as we know, Google is the big point of complaint for many people. If they have an issue with an establishment, rather than speaking to the owner or writing a complaint in the official complaints book, they will go on Google and write a negative review. We have seen that, of course, and that's what people did the other day in Barcelona. That's how the owner of the restaurant found out, because his rating went down, and when he read the reviews, he realized that people were getting sick because of the tortillas that they had eaten in that establishment. So that's how he found out, apparently, and that led the owner of that bar to then inform authorities of the health issue. So, yeah, strange, but that's the world that we live in nowadays. People prefer to express their complaints or qualms on social media rather than going directly to the people that they should be going to. But such is life. One here from Blu-ray. Hola, Stu. A couple of days ago, you mentioned the news that the Spanish postal service Correos was going bankrupt. But didn't Correos just embark on a massive hiring campaign a few months ago? I seem to remember you mentioning this, and that you knew several people studying for the exam at the time. Seems bizarre to be hiring one minute, bankrupt the next. Regards, Hugh in humid Orihuela Costa. Thanks, Hugh, for that, aka Blu-ray fan. That is true, yeah. Correos, I think, over the last couple of years have hired lots and lots of people with these massive public examinations that they do. And I knew one lady that was studying for basically 9 months to try and get into Correos. I don't think she was successful, because I haven't seen her in the uniform. So, and I think I spoke to her, and she said that she didn't get in. So she missed out, unfortunately. The person that lives right in front of me did get into Correos. He gets up every morning, goes off and does whatever he does in the postal service. But they were hiring lots of people earlier this year and also last year. And now, according to the unions, they're bankrupt and need a $3 billion taxpayer injection into that company. So that's how things work, basically. And once people get into that organization, it's almost like a state job, I believe. Very, very secure employment, which is why people study their backsides off to learn all of the procedures in order to work for that organization. But difficult for any state postal company going forward. I know that in Australia, for example, the Australia Post has had issues over the years trying to reinvent itself with the changing world that we live in, emails and direct messaging and things like that nowadays, substituting letters. Of course, packaging, there's a lot of competition in that sector as well. Courier companies popping up left, right and center, and Correos in Spain trying to find a new market in order to keep this big network going with lots of people employed there. And as I said, it doesn't really make sense, as Hugh pointed out there, but as I said, that's the way things work, right? And the final comment here from Shink. Hi Stuart, love your comment on Gibraltar. Only the rock belongs to Britain, the rest of Gibraltar is Spanish. LOL. Yeah, that's probably what a lot of people don't know, that the area down there in the south of Spain is called the Campo de Gibraltar, the Gibraltar camp, if you like. I don't know if that would be the exact translation, but that's what it's called, and it's all of the surrounding area going from Tarifa, I think, in Cádiz, where of course is famous for windsurfing and waves and things like that, all the way up to the border with Malaga, I believe, very, very close to the border with Malaga. So it's the area that surrounds the rock, and of course the rock of Gibraltar is the one that belongs to the British, but only the rock. The rest is surrounded by the Campo de Gibraltar, as they call it in Spanish, all of the different towns and villages that were there before the British came along. So that's the situation down there in the south of Spain. And as we know, it's a bit of an area, it's an area with a bit of an issue at the moment with drug trafficking, because the drugs come over the Gibraltar Strait from Morocco in boats. Other drugs come into the port in Algeciras, and the Spanish police forces spend a huge amount of resources in that area trying to deal with the situation unsuccessfully, it would seem. However, if you speak to police, they say that their operations are successful if they can stop money laundering things, and also some of these mafias that come and set themselves up in that area. I was speaking to a civil guard once, and he told me that the objective that they have is to try to cut off the money supplies to these organizations, and if they manage to do that, they consider their work to be successful. And of course, nowadays, with all of the tight controls when it comes to spending cash, that's one of the ways that they do that. So these criminals can't go out and buy cars in cash, for example, or phones in cash, or watches in cash, and they have trouble spending their ill-gotten gains. Now we'll move on to the chat section in just a moment. We're at the, the 19-minute mark. I'll just get on to the like button. If you haven't hit it yet, please do so. Currently sitting at 50, so if you haven't hit the like icon yet, please do so. Just below the video, you will find it. Also, for people that have supported the channel in recent times, whether it's buying me a coffee, Mary bought me some coffees the other day. Thanks, Mary, for that. I've got my week fixed when it comes to coffees, thanks to Mary. Super thanks option as well. Longer term supporters on Patreon, and also the channel members, thank you very much for your support. And also, I'm just going to pop onto the screen the subscribe button. I can't find it. I did have a subscribe button here, but if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so, because I realize that a lot of people that watch these videos are not subscribed. So if you can hit that subscribe button as well, please do so. Now into the chat section I'm going to go. Let's go there quickly. Let's see what's happening. I'll just scroll up to the top. Barbara, the first person that I can see here, coming in from the Playa Flamenca, 30 degrees there today. Good to see you, Barbara. Valued member is Barbara, as is Andrew. Good evening, coming in from a hot, sunny southeast London. Hoping we're having a great weekend. Thanks for that, Andrew. Hope you are too. Pamela coming in from San Juan de los Terreros, down there in the south of Spain, I believe. High Flyer John coming in from the UK also on grandchildren duty today, so catching up a bit later. Thanks, John, for leaving the message. Uncle Al, Tio Al, down there in the Puerto, 32 degrees Celsius. Hoping everyone is well. I think El Puerto doesn't fit into that Campo de Gibraltar area. I could be wrong, but I think that is the case. Starts at around Tarifa, I think. Jose Antonio coming in from the Royal City. Good to see you again, Jose Antonio. Andrew coming in from Amariña. Rubbish weather, mist, low cloud, muggy, humid and damp up there in Galicia. That's a shame. That's a shame. The Jazz Shed coming in. Olis Dew, can't believe watching a live one. Lovely day in Bury, is that? St Edmunds, Suffolk. 27 degrees, sitting in the garden, drinking a glass or two of nice Portuguese red. There are some nice ones out there, I will say. My wine shop here, the place that I buy wine whenever I'm in that town, does have a lot of decent Portuguese wines, I will say. And it's one of these wines that seems to have got better over time. Greetings all, and not the typical Porto port wine from up there in the north. Lots of good wines coming out all throughout Portugal, I will say. Maura coming in from Jerez, finally made it to the live. Thanks, Maura, for that, for tuning in today. Arturo coming in from Houston, Texas. Good to see you, Arturo. Erica coming in from a hot terraza. Yellow warnings about high temperatures, trying to survive. Hoping everyone is enjoying their life. Thanks for that, Erica. I'm sure they are. 2 out of 10 are the rich for sure, says Jose Antonio, regarding the taxation situation in Spain. Lots of people thinking that their taxes are not going to the correct place. Taxation is illegal, according to Ben. Thanks for that. Ben's got another comment here saying, oh dear, these terrible cannabis smokers, they are terrorizing the locals. God forbid people consume a plant safer than alcohol. Thanks, Ben, for that. Lots of people would agree with that opinion, no doubt. Some people wouldn't, but a lot of people would. Plenty of feral marijuana and opium in the Royal City. Nobody harvests it. There we go. So the marijuana plant's growing wild in Ciudad Real if you want to go and pick yourself some buds. Gino coming in with Isabella to this evening. Not sure where they are, in Canada maybe, or in Spain. I know they were in Spain recently. Puigdemont has said that he can enter the Catalan Parliament by some kind of tunnel, but the real truth is that the support from Catalonia has decreased to such an extent that he's having tantrums. Yeah, I can imagine that is the case, Erica. I think the rest of Spain would like to see Mr. Puigdemont go on a permanent holiday and never grace the newspapers or TV media again. But, of course, he must still have some support in Catalonia, although, as you said there, it is decreasing or waning. Spain should talk to Snoop Dogg, maybe about the illegal cannabis crops. Yeah, Snoop Dogg, of course, an advocate for the weed. What else we got going on here? Darren coming in from, where's that? Just been to Lincolnshire this weekend to see the car show. Yesterday was cloudy but warm. Today was really hot. There we go, hot day there in England. 123 Sean Away coming in from a hot day in Ireland as well. So summer really there in that part of the world. Bob coming in from Torrevieja, looking at your jumper, begs the question, is it cold in Portugal? Haven't got a jumper on, Bob, got a t-shirt on, but it is warm today, I will say. Around 22, 23 degrees, quite warm for here. No wind. Secret to Portugal is the wind. It keeps the temperature down, at least here in the coastal areas. If there's no wind, she gets warm. Very humid. Humid is the issue. Diego coming in here about taxes also. People always say taxes are high and not well distributed, but tax brackets are progressive, and the more you earn, the more you pay. So it seems more than fair. Overall, too much is paid to the state. Yes, that is true. Overall. Ahmad coming in, valued member, as was Bob before. Hi, Stu, good to see you. Or good to catch the live stream, I should say. Don't want to invent things there. TOL saying a study was done in the US regarding people having problems with a restaurant. Only 1 in 20 will contact the restaurant. The rest will tell their friends and post on the internet. There we go. That's the way people act, right? An issue for the restaurant owners, because I'm sure that they would like to have that feedback directly rather than having it go online. But as I said, the internet now works that way. People choose their restaurants according to ratings. Raymond coming in, greetings from Bogota. I have noticed the taste for runny tortillas when in Coruña recently. Perhaps the tortillas are not being fully cooked, hence making them riskier. Yeah, a lot of the tortillas in Galicia, if I remember correctly, Raymond, are the runny variety. I remember in Betanzos, the tortilla was of the runny variety. I know there are some places in Spain where you're not allowed to make tortilla with real eggs. You have to use some type of egg substitute, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I do believe that was the case there for a while. But places like Casadani, famous for their runny egg tortillas, and lots of people like them that way. What else? Dan Quixote coming in from Ulster, up there in the north of Ireland, of course. One of the many, what are they called? Counties, is it, of Ireland? Ulster. Carlos coming in from Mexico. I'll just put that one on the screen there. Alan saying hi as well. Good to see you, Alan. What else we got going on here? The most powerful outboard motors are sold the most in Campo de Gibraltar. Of course, they need those boats to get across the Gibraltar Strait of Jose Antonio. I have seen that they make those boats in illegal sheds around the country. The Civil Guard is trying to find out where they are being built. If you buy outboard motors with large horsepowers, you will be a suspect directly, of course, because they'll think that you will be using these motors to distribute illegal material. Different gear. Is that Gillette shave or Mercadona? Looks clean, but those Gillette cartridges are €20 for 4. Thanks, different gear. I buy my razor blades whenever I go to Australia, to be honest, if that's what you're referring to. I tend to pick them up there quite cheaply, bring them back, buy in bulk. Normally come back with about 20 or 30, depending on the next time I can get down there. But that's where I buy my razor blades. I think they're Wilkinson Sword, to be honest. Not sure. I'll check for next time. I think that is the case. Aussie ladies rugby are thrashing. I think that's trashing or thrashing the UK, 35-5. The Olympics are on, of course. Lots of events so far. What else we got here? 30 degrees from Alberta, Canada. Mike, good to see you, Mike. El Puerto is 1.5 hour drive to Gibraltar, so quite a way away. If the Titanic, Lord Jim's got a joke here. If the Titanic had a lisp, unthinkable. There we go. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look. Don't really understand that one, so I won't put it on the screen. Super chat from Marcus coming in. Thanks, Marca. Enjoy a bica and pastel de nata on Marcus. Thank you very much, Marcus. €5 there. I will enjoy a coffee or two. Bica probably not. A little bit strong for me. I prefer a little bit of milk in my coffee if I can, but thanks for that. Appreciate it, of course. What else? Let's have a look here. Yusuf saying a tunnel. Not sure what that's about. Oh, the tunnel with Pouge de Mont. Yeah, I'm not sure whether there's a tunnel or not for Mr. Puigdemont to get into the Parliament, but he's got to be careful when he steps on Spanish soil, because Catalonia is still belonging to Spain. What else we got going on here? 46 degrees, says Alan, in Tabernas, the desert down there in Almeria. Very hot, very, very warm. 44 in Badajoz, according to Jose Antonio. The Jazz Shed, people who moan about high taxes are the first to moan about the lack of services. There we go. Evil coming in from a humid Malaga. 36 degrees, says Alan, so made a mistake there, I think. 62% humidity in Malaga, according to Evil, so quite humid there. And you might like a bica pingada, absolutely, the cafe pingado, with a little bit of milk just to take the edge off the strong coffee, or the bitterness out of the coffee, if you like. That is true. The price of coffee, I will say, has gone up. I think we're paying more than €1 for a coffee now here in this part of Portugal. So the COS crisis, the cost of, or the coal crisis, or whatever they call it, the cost of living crisis, starting to kick in here as well. And what's this here? Why do you not give the reason why the rock is British? Well, you can go and look it up yourself on Wikipedia if you want, Barry. You'll find out why the rock is British, but the rest of the area is not, and it's still called Gibraltar, the Campo de Gibraltar. And that's the point I was trying to make the other day. The tunnel is from the times of the Civil War. Thanks, Erica, for that. So going back a fair way, so that tunnel there. Now I'm going to wrap the live stream up. Been going for 30 minutes today. That's the end of the chat section. I'll be back again on Tuesday with another live stream. Hope to see you then. Have a fantastic start to the week. As I always say, hasta luego, hasta entonces, adios, bye-bye.